Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game podcast. Hawks lose 4-1 to the San Jose Sharks. Can you believe it? The Hawks lost. Oh my God. We're presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. That's Greg Boysen, Mario Tiribassi over there. I'm Jay Zawaski. Thanks for joining us after another Blackhawks loss. Fellas, you could see the message Derek King sent in this game early was shoot, put shot attempts on. And they seemed to do that unless they had a wide open look. And if they had a wide open look, Taylor Radish would dump it into the corner where no one was standing. Alex DeBrincat would try to make a pass across the slot. There were just a lot of frustrating moments in this one. But as we've talked about for the last few weeks, sort of since the trade deadline, you can't really knock the effort. You can just sort of knock the result. They played hard, but just it's hard to do what they did and still lose 4-1 to a Sharks team that is not very good.
They tilted the ice back in their favor compared to Thursday night's game where they just completely got run off the ice. So, yeah, the effort was there. They made the adjustments to try and be a little bit more aggressive offensively and get more pucks towards the net. They did that. It's just they didn't have – the difference was in between the pipes.
Yeah.
Kevin Lankinen didn't have his best game, and Kakinen with the Sharks. You know, he was sharp when he had to be, and that's just kind of the difference in the game. I can't knock the Blackhawks' effort. They were trying. They were trying to get a win in a game that doesn't mean anything for either team. And even still, in a game where there's nothing to play for both teams, the Blackhawks still just kind of, I don't know. It's just not good enough, and it's not entertaining, and we have to sit here and talk about it, and it's like there's 3 more. That's the best I can take from this. There's 3 more of these that we got to sit through.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for the show.
That's 3 too many.
You know what, though? In 2 weeks, we're going to be like, damn,
I know.
I wish we had a game to talk about.
Of course.
Well, we'll have some playoff games to
Yes,
talk
we
about.
will.
We could talk about good hockey teams doing entertaining things on the ice. You need 2 E's to win hockey games. You need effort. You need execution. Blackhawks had one of those.
Yeah.
Which was one more than they had against the Kings. They had neither of those against the Kings. They had the effort, no execution. Guys, hey, let's see how far close I could skate to the goalie before I shoot it. Why take the wide open shot from 7 feet? Let me get right next to him and try and flip it over his pad. Or let me pass it to a guy that's got 3 sticks surrounding him.
How about Borgstrom
Who?
skating himself? Good old number 13. Borgstrom skating himself out of a scoring chance. Like, I got an open look. Let me stick handle 3 or 4 times, and I got nothing. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is put this on the pad of Kakinen and call it a day.
And then
There's a reason he played 5 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Man, is that all?
Man, he spent almost as much time in the penalty box as he spent on the ice today. That's not a good thing. I don't know what's more frustrating, watching the Blackhawks pass the puck 100 times too many, or watching them try to clear their own zone.
Yeah,
it's like hot potato in the defensive zone. And again, we saw it today. We've talked about this plenty of times, the forwards are they're cheating. They're leaving the zone too early. They're leaving their defensemen on an island, and you don't have guys back there that are good at passing the puck under pressure. That's a skill. That's a skill that comes with a lot of experience. Seth Jones can do it. Jake McCabe kind of can do it.
Yeah.
But that's about
Gustafson
it.
allegedly can do it, but those are the symptoms of having a young defense where, we talk when young players talk about the game being faster. Yes, they're talking about the skating speed of the players, but they're also talking about the playmaking. You have to make decisions faster. You've got to move the puck faster, and that internal clock from these players, it can make them play a little bit frantically. And they're trying really hard to, instead of taking an extra tick here or there and making a safer play, we saw Regula make a few. They made a really strong point to point out how well Regula played. It was kind of weird and over the top, but whatever. But those are the inexperienced things that the players have to learn. Is when you have those veteran forwards out there like Kane and DeBrincat and Tyler Johnson and Toews and even Kubalik to an extent, you can't be leaving. When you had Hjalmarsson and Seabrook and Keith and Oduya and Brian Campbell and these puck-moving defensemen, right. That's one thing, right? You don't have any of those guys right now.
No.
None of them. So they have to change the way they approach their defending in the defensive zone. Those forwards have to stay back. They have to help out in puck support, and it's been an epidemic all year with the Hawks, and it makes the defensemen probably look worse than they are because not only are they trying to make a pass that are probably not equipped to make, but they're also fighting battles by themselves where you see other teams, if a defenseman's pinned up against the boards, he's got maybe another forward or two there helping him out trying to win that puck. Too often we see Hawks defensemen out there on an island trying to fend off 2 or 3 skaters from the other team while the Hawks veteran forwards and some of the young guys too are just standing at the blue line waiting for the pass to come. That's not how you succeed, and that's how you have a shift like you had against LA, where Jonathan Toews is out there for 3.5 minutes, sucking wind and breaking his stick when the shift's over because there's just not that commitment to puck support. And it's a little thing, and maybe you think it doesn't mean much, but it means a ton when your forwards are just looking back like, you need to get it? Get it to me? Can I have it? Can I have it? No. Go help. Go puck support.
Yeah, when you're an Alex Regula and Alec Vlasic and you're just a few games into this, and you get the puck on your stick in your own zone, deep in your own zone, and then you look up the ice, and there's 3 guys in opposing sweaters bearing down on you, and the only forward you can see has his back turned to you, and he's over the blue line.
Right. And you've got, like you said, 3 guys from the other team between you and them.
Yeah. It makes 0 sense, and you see it from guys that should know better. But that we say, the effort was there. Yeah, overall the effort was there, but there are times where you want more effort, and that's where you need it.
Well, it's also a situational awareness too, right? And I think part of it is the team is feeling frustrated offensively, so subconsciously they're cheating. I don't know if it's always a conscious effort to leave the zone too early, but they're saying, we need to go. We're down 2, we're down 3. We got to create some offense. But as we learned through the dynasty, good offense is created through puck-moving defense and being effective in your defensive zone. And the Hawks are just not that right now. And hopefully it comes, and hopefully it develops, and hopefully whoever the next coach is, be it Derek King or somebody else, can pound that into their skulls saying, you need to play defense first. You need to support your defenseman first before you start going looking for goals. And when you do that, we're going to have possession more, which means we'll have more goals.
Transition is a 5-man operation.
Yeah.
You can't just depend on one stretch pass to get you through the neutral zone every time.
Well, and we saw a little bit of a defensive improvement when Derek King took over, but I think what we're seeing now is the effect that over time, not having a goaltender like Marc-Andre Fleury to kind of cover up all the blemishes that this team has defensively is having now, because you could get away with some of those things and get away with having a poorly timed turnover or losing a board battle in your own zone because you could have Fleury bail you out from time to time. Now you don't have that. So now it's and we've talked a few episodes over the course of as the season's gone on here towards the end, talking about, having to play so tight and mistake free because you don't have the kind of caliber of goaltending to bail you out in those moments. And now you have young players that are in this position where they have no backup, and it feels like a lot of tense moments for some of these young players and for the veterans as well, defensively. And I think it's just got a little bit of it is, like you said, execution. A lot of it is commitment to making the effort plays to make the difference.
When all of that is intertwined too, right? So you've got the lack of trust in the goaltending. You've got the lack of puck support defensively because the forwards are saying, we're down, we need to score, we need to force some offense. And you've got all of those things happening simultaneously. That's how you lose 4-1 to San Jose.
Right.
That's how it all comes together. And yeah, they skated hard and they forechecked hard. And they're not, in this game anyway, they didn't look like they were checked out. They were engaged, but you've got all these things kind of blobbing together, and it's making a really bad situation to be a Blackhawk.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, we don't trust our goalie. Our defense is inexperienced. The forwards are cheating. And when it's all three of those, forget it. You're toast. You're toast before the puck drops.
And you don't have a goalie with any confidence.
Right.
And then when he does make a stop, he kicks it right back to the middle of the ice. That first goal, the Sharks, that initial shot was not the score. The initial shot was they knew that let's get a shot on goal. It's going to get right back to the middle of the ice, have a guy there with a stick on the ice, and we're going to get a goal. That's exactly what that was. So, as Mario mentioned, when we had Marc-Andre Fleury, the defense looked better because he can make that big save and absorb the puck where it was only one chance. But now we got a goalie that gives the puck right back, and if it's not scored off the rebound, the Hawks can't clear it out, and it just extends the shift even longer, and it's just wash and repeat, same thing over and over and over and over again, and it's three more games. Thank you, baby Jesus.
We got a comment from Hank in the chat. He says, Philly, Vegas, Buffalo, can we win one?
Sure, we can. Will they? Is the question. They can win one of those.
Vegas is the home finale.
Be a fun one to win.
That would be a fun one to win.
I would love to keep Vegas out of the playoffs. Vegas not making the playoffs would just tickle me to death. I'm tired of them. I'm over them. And the way they've treated players, goaltenders in particular, these past 9 months. For them to just not make the playoffs and go into another year of salary cap hell with nothing to show for it, I support that 100%. So, yeah, beating Vegas would be a lot of fun.
Beating Vegas would be great, yeah.
It's funny, the Hawks are a team where there are no assumed victories anymore.
No.
Like, oh, that's Philly, they suck, so that's an easy win. No, the Hawks, I think the Hawks are that for most teams now.
Buffalo, Montreal, Arizona, those were all teams where you're like, okay. We can kind of pencil something in, take a night off. Nope. Like you said, Blackhawks are, if other teams don't view them as that yet, they have become that now.
Well, here's an interesting storyline: the regular season finale at Buffalo, this Friday. Wouldn't that be weird if that's Patrick Kane's last game in a Blackhawks uniform in Buffalo? That'd be kind of ironic.
Would be.
Not starting that rumor, but there's a possibility.
Let's not start the rumor, but let's start the rumor.
Well, let's start the rumor.
That's the only place he can be traded to.
Yeah.
Because it's where he's from. That's how it works. That's why everyone ever born in Canada only plays for the Canadian teams.
Yeah. That's why Jonathan Toews will go to Winnipeg.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see if we can get. Maybe they still got some Ryan Miller jerseys in the pro shop they could send us. That trade was forever, but. No, that'd be interesting. If he decides he wants to be traded in the summer, that his last game in a Blackhawks uniform is in Buffalo of all places. But we'll see. Lots has to happen before that is a thing.
Yeah, Ryan in the comments says the Hawks are pretty terrible, to be honest. Fleury propped them up, and yeah, that's the point. Like having a goalie like Marc-Andre Fleury make the team probably look a lot better than they were. And if anyone who's a numbers person who would dig into the fancy stats after every game, after every month, whatever, even with Fleury, they would tell you the Hawks are real bad.
Yeah.
They, they should not be anywhere close to his, his success. And not that they had a ton of success, but with Fleury, they were a lot better. But you could see, look at the decline. As soon as Fleury left, they had a decent game or two right after the deadline, kind of like, screw you, it's us against the world sort of a thing. And then reality struck, and they're like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're bad. We forgot. So
yeah, it's and you look at what Fleury's done since he's gone to Minnesota. It's like, wow, who would have guessed a competent defense and a team that can score goals can make Marc-Andre Fleury look like the all-star caliber goalie that he's still playing as, and reignite him to say, oh, maybe I'll play more than one season.
Yeah,
maybe I like hockey again.
I like that comment, and just a quick shout out to Grace and David watching at home. Yeah, it's funny. I wonder when he made that decision that he wants to come back for another year. Was it March 22nd, maybe? Like, hey, I want to play hockey again.
Hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, wow, winning is fun, damn it.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat. I know, it's we're just sort of playing out the stretch here. 3 more games to go, and we appreciate your support when you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, when you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, when you comment, all those sort of things, those 5-star Apple Podcast reviews. We love them all, but the best way to support us here at CHGO is to download that PointsBet app and use CHGO as the promo code when you sign up. If you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but that's not it. Make a $50 or more first-time deposit, and you'll receive a free CHGO membership that unlocks all of our web content and even a free T-shirt from the CHGO locker. PointsBet is your home for live in-play betting, and it just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's new feature, Live NBA Same-Game Parlay. For the first time ever, you can build that perfect live NBA same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. Want more? You can also boost your live same-game parlays. Watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. And remember, online sign-up is available now in Illinois, so you can get everything from start to finish on that PointsBet app now. No need to go to a casino and get on their Wi-Fi and do a bunch of hula hoop tricks and those sort of things. Just download the app, sign up from start to finish, and you're good to go. And use that code CHGO when you sign up. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Yeah. Nice.
Here it is.
I went with a 7-leg parlay today because I'm an idiot, and the first one hit. I was like, yeah, all right, one for 7. Here we go. I lost the next 3.
Ooh.
So yeah, chasing the plus money as the term I learned this past week.
I'm willing to bet, though, no pun intended, you have more money in your account than our guy Sean.
Yes, I have done better in keeping my money in my account, but I think it's because I'm putting 50 cents on each bet.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
stretching it
Doesn't
out.
matter.
Stretching it out much longer than he does. He's more of a risk taker than I am.
That's a way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Make sure you watch the CHGO Bet Show with Sean and
Cody.
Sean and Cody. Cody.
He knows what he's doing.
He's doing good.
Yeah, listen.
And look, Sean knows what he's doing too. He's just a bit of a rough patch for Sean, but he'll get it back.
Mm-hmm.
He's leaving his zone too early.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
That's just very true.
Once baseball season and football season is over, he starts betting some of that tennis tour. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever he can.
Stop betting the American sports, Sean. Go crazy.
Yeah,
some Jai or whatever that is. Maybe.
Yeah, it's it's just we're just sitting here and watching the game. It felt somewhat better, but the result again, they're just not good. And I feel like, we should get used to losing, but is it going to be this bad for the next 2-3 years?
You'd hope not. I mean,
I would hope not, right?
What do you look for starting this October is not the results in the standings. It's not the scoreboard. It's going to be watching. Are we getting progression out of the guys we want to progress?
Yeah.
Are we getting something out of Kirby Doc finally? If not, if it doesn't happen next year, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Are we getting progression out of these young defensemen? Mm-hmm. Are they getting better? Are we identifying guys that are going to be here beyond the next couple of years when we're good again? That's what we get to watch for. And I think that will overshadow bad hockey.
I think next year it has to, but and you hope that it looks a lot different than the last month of hockey that we've seen. Because what we've seen in the last month is a team going nowhere and devoid of many players that are going to be around for the next few seasons when they start trying to build back up. And what you want to look for next season is progression in the young players, like you said, effort, and a system. Like, is there a system in place that you can point to and say, this is what the Blackhawks are going to try and do and try and implement with these young players as they build up, and what is the brand of hockey that the Blackhawks are going to play in the rebuild that will be successful. And I think that's what we're going to have to focus on in the next few seasons, because what we're seeing now is it's just a team riding out the final games of the schedule. Like you said, Jay, earlier, there were a couple games after the trade deadline where it was like, oh, the new guys are making an impact. Like, seems like there's some sort of, renewed energy, but it faded away very quickly. And now we're just into this point where the team really feels like it's just like, okay, they're just like we are. They are just like checking off, okay, scratch that game off. How many more do we have left to get through? So I have a lot of hope that the way that they are losing games now is not the way that we're going to see games be lost. It'll happen, but not the way that most games that they lose in the next season or two are going to look. Like, we're not going to be sitting here begrudgingly watching a game like, oh, this crappy team. Like, you're going to know, okay, they're young. They're going to take their lumps. They're developing. You just have to see the progression of the players that are going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, I think just what's frustrating about this whole year, among many things, is there were some expectations. You sign Marc-Andre Fleury. You trade for Seth Jones. Even like Tyler Johnson a little bit. It's a guy you like, hey, 2 cups in a row. Effective player, Jonathan Toews is...
Oh my God!
Well, that's
oh my God! That's it. That summarizes everything. His leg fell off.
We have killed Jonathan Toews.
Call this a lower body injury.
Oh my God! Yeah, just lay him down. Oh boy!
R.I.P.
What the poor Johnny.
That scared the crap out of me.
Oh my God! I saw it in slow motion happening. There, down goes Johnny. Oh well, that was a good run, Johnny. He's even got it. He's like palms up. The
you guys
typical
better hope
Toews
that's
pose.
not a voodoo doll bobblehead.
Oh boy, I think he's. Yeah, I think Johnny is done.
We need to get. Now they're making out.
If you're listening on the podcast, you've got to go back and watch the video and find the moment that Jonathan Toews just gives up on life.
There we go. Look at that. That's a little unsettling.
Hey, they're close, man. Don't judge it. Oh, that's cute.
He's got the towel over their face so you can't see.
Yeah, boy. It's well. It was a good run.
This is getting clipped for YouTube.
We got to get an Alec Regula bobblehead in here. Stat.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my Lord. All right. This seems as good a time as any to get to our 4 stars of the game, doesn't it?
Oh, my man.
Lord. Yeah, this one is off the rails.
Yikes.
4-star.
4-star of the game, some Gorilla Glue.
Again, we had the entire
Yes.
Blackhawks roster to choose from because the 3 stars were all Sharks. Kaapo Kähkönen, number 1 star, goalie. Timo Meier, 2nd star. Alexander Barbanoff, the 3rd star. Good for those guys.
The shaving cream?
Yes. Well, a little bit of foreshadowing. I like it.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to give my 3rd star to Sam Lafferty. Played hard, loves the game, all those sort of things you say about a guy like Sam Lafferty.
Very coachy.
Yeah, he's out there playing hard.
110%.
Yeah, I mean, I liked his game overall. 3 shots on goal, 2 more shot attempts. He won 75% of his faceoffs, winning 6 and losing 2. So, yeah, it's a guy who stood out to me many times during the game, so he gets my 4th star.
All right. I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson. He had the goal. So I guess you got to go with him. He did have a penalty. He took a kind of dumb cross-checking penalty, and, of course, the Sharks scored on that ensuing power play, but he still scored the goal. So listen, this is a guy, I've said it before, this is a guy that could have packed it in and said, I'm going home a long time ago, comes back from neck surgery, works hard to get back, then suffers a concussion. Was it his first game back? One of his first games back.
Yep.
Misses a bunch of
early,
time, and then, has to be a healthy scratch for 3 or 4 games in a row. And since he's been back and since he's been on a line with Jonathan Toews and Dominic Kulik, that line's looked pretty good. They've been noticeable. And Tyler Johnson is one of those guys, at least the last handful of games, you can't really say, well, he's not trying out there. He's playing hard. He had 4 hits in this game.
He played his ass off in this one. No doubt.
So, he's a guy that cares. He's a veteran that knows a thing or two about what pride is. And he's showing that. That's the kind of guy you need to lead by example. You don't necessarily want to have a guy like him for that kind of money, but if you need that veteran leadership, he's a guy that I don't have a problem keeping around next year and maybe taking a few of these young guys under his wing and saying, this is what you got to do to win championships.
Yeah, and like we've said, you can't have a team of 100% kids. You just can't, because you're just going to lose 4-1 every night. Oh, wait. That's happening anyway. But you get the point. You can't just you can't just call up the IceHogs and say, go to it, because that's going to be detrimental to their development.
Right. It stunts the development for sure. I went with Alec Regula. He was the darling of the broadcast tonight.
He was.
He didn't play too bad of a game. There was a play or two, where he again looks like the very young NHL defenseman that he is. But I think this was another game where he did the little things right. Something that you wanted to see out of a defenseman. We talked about it earlier, how transitioning him and Alex Vlasic transitioning to the NHL and getting used to the speed of the game. I think we're seeing both of them develop that awareness a little bit more as they've played more these last few games. And so, Regula had not a bad game. He'll be a player that'll go to Rockford as they clinch their playoff spot tonight. So he'll go back to Rockford eventually for the playoff run. So it would be good to see him. He'll probably finish out the regular season up here and then head to Rockford. But not a bad game for him tonight.
He's been a nice story because he's not been one of the highly touted defensive prospects. We've had Ian Mitchell on our radar. Nicholas Bodine's a former first-round pick.
Jakob Galvis was...
Isaac Phillips has
I think we all thought Kalnick was
going
to be a guy who played most of the games this year here too, and he just is not.
Right, which is not a bad thing.
No.
But it's been Regula, who wasn't a draft pick. They acquired him in a trade from the Red Wings for Brendan Perlini. I believe that the main reason they got him was because he was a defensive pair of Adam Boqvist in London with the Knights. So they're like, hey, let's get Adam Boqvist, his old defensive partner here. Now it's going to turn out that Regula could play more games as a Blackhawk as Adam Boqvist did.
Crazy.
What a crazy twist. So, nice stretch here for Regula. Still making the mistakes, but that's going to happen.
That happens.
He had the bad pass that led to the 2-on-1 goal early in the second period, but you make those mistakes. As long as you don't make those mistakes over and over and over again, and you'll eventually learn from them, then you could deal with it.
I want to address a comment in the chat from Erica. She says, you guys keep trying to tell us Coach King is good with the young players, but I don't see enough of it. Well, I think if you go back and probably listen to the last 5 to 7 of these we've done, we've had our 4 stars, most of them are kids, right? Talk about the development from when Vlasic was signed to now, significant. Mm-hmm. That was a guy who... Derek King himself said he's not ready for the NHL, and now he's your top pair defenseman with Seth Jones. Is he a top pair defenseman now? No, but that's a kid who's developing. Regula is developing well. He's gotten posts tonight. Other games, he's been our 4-star of the night several times. You look at the young players on this team, and they're making mistakes, but they're mistakes that you expect young players to make. The guys that are letting this team down are the veterans. Those are the guys, to me, who have just not done enough. And Mario, you mentioned, Radish and Kachuk. Both guys they're not kids, but they're not like old vets by any means, but they've
I mean, they're NHL rookies.
Yeah,
by
they're
definition.
older rookies though.
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
they've fallen off a little bit as the season's gone on. Toews has not been. And look, when the season ends, we're going to hear, I would assume, a lot about Jonathan Toews still not feeling 100%, yada yada yada, and valid, whatever. But the kids, for the most part, have the arrows pointing up on most all of them. And I know the one that's the most important, Kirby Dach, has not made that step in terms of production. But as the season went on, as King took over, you saw Kirby Dach's all-around game get better. You saw him play in all three zones. You saw him be a little more effective defensively than he had been before. Yeah, the goals haven't been there, and the generation of offense hasn't been there, but the other parts of Kirby Dach's game have come along a little bit. Not enough for me, for a guy who was chosen third overall, but I do think that when you look at the young guys that have been given chances on this team, given opportunities late, especially lately, they've all kind of taken those opportunities and run with them. And don't you have to give Derek King some credit for that? Again, I'm not saying he's the next Scotty Bowman or Al Arbor or anything like that, but I think he has shown a good rapport with the kids. His personality lends itself to a rebuilding sort of a process, because he's not going to be too much of a hard ass on anybody like a John Tortorella would be or somebody else. I don't know. All I'm saying is I wouldn't mind giving him another season to have a full off season, to implement a system, to hire his own coaches, and to be given the full reins as head coach and see what he can do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, there's no harm. You call him the Rockford head coach again or whatever, and you move on. It's okay. I just don't think that. I think I've seen enough growth from kids who I didn't expect growth from to think, maybe Derek King is onto something here a little bit.
And I think to your point about, the personality and the demeanor that lends itself to a rebuilding team, he's a player, or he's a coach that will take a player and be open and honest with them what they need to do to stay in the lineup, or what they need to do to progress to becoming more of a prominent player. And you look at Dylan Strome, when King took over, Strome was scratched. Yep. He was a non-factor in the lineup, and it took some time for King to kind of get him into the right fit, the right system, and obviously we were all harping on it earlier on the year, like Dylan Strome's not a fourth line center, not a third line center. He's not going to be your defensive center. He needs to be playing in an offensive role, in a top six role with other skill players around him to get the most out of him. And lo and behold, once he's put in that position, and once he's given the leash to kind of find his way in that role, he goes off and he goes back to the Dylan Strome that we saw a few seasons ago. And I think King's communication skills have been much better to the players, to the media, than I think Jeremy Colliton's probably ever were at this level. And I think that's something that young players, a new generation of players, like King talked about when he was on our show, there's a new generation of players where you can't just pound them down, and say and communicate to them that way to get the most out of them. You kind of have to bring them along and put your arm around them and talk and communicate differently to them. And I think he gets that, and I think he has done that effectively. And that is part of the progression of the younger players that we've seen, and also part of the rapport that he has with a lot of players that are going to be coming from Rockford in the next season or two, to kind of bring them along and say, okay, now you're here with us at the NHL level. Now let's see where we can go from there.
I encourage everybody to check out Mark Lazarus's piece on Dylan Strome from this week for The Athletic. Strome talks a lot about how Derek King has impacted his season, and Derek King comments about how when Colliton was head coach and it was preseason, they were in meetings and Colliton flat out said there's no place for Dylan Strome on this roster. Dylan Strome has probably been, aside from Kane and DeBrincat, who are your two superstars, he's been probably your most effective player through the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. And Jeremy Colliton had no place for him. And look, King came in, gave Strome a fresh start, and Strome failed. And King, again, scratched him a couple times, gave him low ice time, and told him, this is what you need to do to play. And Strome got the message and has become effective since then.
And he's done it with Philip Kurashev. He's done it with Dominik Kubalik. And when those guys have gone out of the lineup and come back, we've seen better performances from them, sometimes in short spurts, but sometimes more sustained performances from both those guys. So, again, I think it goes to the point where he's able to communicate effectively what the players need to do to succeed. We can dissect X's and O's all we want, but I think at this point in time in the rebuild, you need the right coach that can kind of guide players to progress in the right ways. If you get that going, the X's and O's and the wins and losses will come with it.
Yeah, and King, when he was sitting here in the studio, had told us his own journey can definitely help in this situation. He was a high draft pick, struggled his first couple of years. Yeah, he, to his own admittance, came up too early and struggled, and then eventually, after learning lessons the hard way, he became a very effective player. He was a 40-goal scorer at one point, and so he's got those lessons that he can now teach some of the guys that the Hawks will be bringing in. And to me, there's no risk, high reward kind of move. Best case scenario, you bring him back for a year, you let him bring in his own assistants, and you see progression, and he develops into a guy you want to keep longer. Worst case scenario, he comes in, the Blackhawks are terrible next year, and you got yourself one of the top 3 picks in the draft next year.
Just remember Dennis Savard and what he did for the young core of the Hawks, and he's not found a coaching job since, and he probably won't again, but he was the right guy to bring those young players along. Then when it was time to win, in comes Joel Quenneville.
And frankly, Kyle Davidson has way too much on his plate this offseason to include a head coaching search, too.
Yeah.
He's got far bigger fish to fry than look for a new head coach at this point of the rebuild. Next year is not about the results. It's about the progression. I think there's been enough progression from young players this season to warrant Derek King getting one more season, and we see where we go.
Yep.
And I don't think did we actually decide our 4th star? Did we pick our guy?
No, we got interrupted.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll go with Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, let's give it to Tyler Johnson,
Tyler
too.
Johnson. Yay for scoring that goal.
Well, I want to point this out, too. Ben Pope from the Sun-Times tweeting some post-game quotes, and here is Tyler Johnson, quote, "Our compete and everything is there. It's just our decision-making. We make the game way too difficult. We're all over the ice. We just kind of play one-on-one battles instead of playing as a team. When you do that against teams and structure, you just start losing." Seth Jones, quote, "There's really nothing to be happy about. Just some unforced errors tonight kind of took us out of it." It's what we've been saying.
Sounds like they listen to our show.
Honestly, it's the same stuff we've been saying. Tyler Johnson, for the second game in a row, post-game, has hit the nail on the head with his breakdown of it. And this is a guy coming from 2 consecutive Stanley Cup teams. He sees it. He knows what it's about. He knows what they're doing wrong. And for him to be as strong in the media as he's been lately, I hate his contract, right? It's something you had to take to get rid of the Brent Seabrook contract. But in terms of a guy I want in the locker room, whether he's scoring 20 goals or 7, that's the kind of guy who I think can have a really positive impact on a young
He's like
team.
an assistant coach on the ice.
He is.
And I'm okay
Absolutely.
with that.
And I think that's a guy who, when his playing career is over, will probably be in some sort of coaching role somewhere.
I think so. He's got the mindset for it. And we talk a lot of sports here at CHGO Sports. We're the only ones that talk about pucks. Everybody else gets to talk about balls. But now we get to talk about balls.
Hey.
Yes, we do. Because support for CHGO is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate in men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. We had a guy in here from Chile the other night. We can ship some razors to you for free if you're still here, and that's by inserting the promo code Blackhawks at manscaped.com.
That's easy to remember.
And if my math is correct, that's 8 million balls
At
enjoying the products. That's a lot of balls.
It's a lot of balls.
Hey, I've used the product. I've used the product fairly recently.
I don't believe you. Prove it.
We've already got one mishap here. We don't need another bobblehead fainting. But no, nobody likes cuts and nicks to their goodies. It's bad. The last thing you want to see while you're looking down there is little drops of blood. It's terrifying.
For many reasons.
Yes, but
One of the last things.
Manscaped will not let that happen to you. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and it is a game changer. Inside this package, no pun intended, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. As I get older, I need that.
Yeah, I need
just
that
as
bad. Yep.
Crop Preserver ball deodorant. And
you know what that is? Deodorant for your balls.
Hey, no one needs stinky balls.
And Crop Reviver toner, and I've been told that they smell very good.
You can revive your balls?
That your balls smell good or the creams?
Well, when you use the cream on your balls, yes. Plus, there's a
10-minute window where your balls smell good. Thanks, Manscaped.
Plus, you also get performance boxer briefs and a travel bag to hold all your goodies, because we all need a bag for our goodies. And Manscaped makes your bag as smooth as the United Center's ice. So
that's right.
And don't forget 20% off when you use the promo code Blackhawks. That's at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping anywhere in the world where you need help with your balls.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll take care of you.
That's a big ball.
It is.
Is it? That's what they want you to believe,
people.
Mario.
You ask some people.
Yes. So that's, once again, manscaped.com, promo code Blackhawks, 20% off and free shipping.
Surprise your significant other with a landing strip.
Yes. Type in, you can shave in the number of your favorite Blackhawk.
Carve the Blackhawks logo and send pictures at Greg Boysen.
I've gotten worse.
DMs are open.
I've gotten worse pictures than that on Twitter.
What's great though is the light, because sometimes it's hard to find.
There's a light on the.
There's a little guide light there. It helps
Fantastic.
You can shave your balls in the dark if you have to.
And in the shower, it is.
Yeah, it's waterproof. Yeah.
It is waterproof, so I can do.
You can
TikTok
place bets
and and shave my
your
balls simultaneously,
all at the same time.
I am a multitasker, my friend.
You know, it's a one.
Do you have a? Never mind. I'm not gonna ask that. Never mind.
Well, now I'm curious. We'll talk about it off the show.
We'll see how big the water bill is at the Zawaski house. How much time he's spending in the shower.
Yeah. Well. All right. Well, awkward transition.
Well, we made it through that one.
Yeah. Manscaped.
Speaking of hogs, Rockford made the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
The ice version of them.
Yes, the Rockford IceHogs are in the playoffs.
Good for them.
They announced today playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow. Is that
playoff
correct?
tickets on sale tomorrow.
They are not wasting any time to cash in on IceHogs fever, baby.
Well, they are a Blackhawks affiliate after all.
Yes. So
there you go.
No, good for them. It's their first playoff appearance since 2018.
Reached the Western Conference Finals that year.
They beat the Wolves in the first round, upset them.
They swept the Wolves and the Manitoba Moose in the first two rounds.
And those are two teams they could be playing this time through. They're currently in fourth. The way the playoff bracket is, the AHL is funky as all hell.
Well, it's funny because Greg Wyshynski of ESPN just put out an article recently about expanding the NHL playoffs to 20 teams, and people lost their shit. And now you talk about the AHL playoffs, 23. And the 23 of the 31 teams.
Basically, the bottom two teams from each division stay home. Everybody else makes it. So the Central has 5 teams making it. The top 3 teams get a bye. The 4th and the 5th seed play each other, and the winner of that will play the Wolves in the first round, who are the top seed and one of the best teams in the AHL. So right now the Hogs are in 4th, so they would have to play that play-in series. I believe it's a best of 3 or best of 5.
It's not just a one game?
I don't think it might be a 2 out of 3 series. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to check that out.
That up. That seems excessive.
They are literally 2 percentage points behind the Milwaukee Admirals for third place to get that bye, and then they would play Manitoba in the first round. So, and they have one more game against the Admirals coming up this week. So that, as they like to say in the business, is a big game.
That's fun. And that AHL TV subscription, if you don't have it, you can get just the playoffs, and I believe it's either $24.99 or $29.99, and that's worth it. You're going to want to watch the IceHogs because there's a lot of guys on that team that matter for the future of this organization.
Almost
Lucas
their
Reichel,
entire defensive core.
Seriously.
You know, you're going to get a number of those guys to come up to the
Lucas
Blackhawks.
Reichel, he had an assist today, I believe.
Yep.
And he has tied the IceHogs rookie record for most points in a season, 51 points. He would have blown that by had he not spent those 3 weeks in the NHL. But he's still got 3 more games left to pick up a point. I like his odds.
Yeah.
If that was a bet on points bet, I would pull the trigger on that for more than 50 cents. That might be a whole $1.
Ooh.
Listen, if you get the AHL TV, you can watch. I'm going to try and make it to as many games as possible and cover them.
We're definitely going to talk a lot more IceHogs.
We're going to have some ice. Hopefully, we're going to have some guests on to talk IceHogs in the next few days. Some players, maybe some people that can inform all of us, give us a season in review. But if you get the chance and you're in the Chicago area and you get the chance to make that trip out to Rockford for a playoff game, I highly recommend it. BMO Harris is a great little arena to see a game in. There's literally not a bad seat in the entire house. It's 5,000 seat top.
The Coyotes could play there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually. I think it's bigger than the Coyotes.
I think it is. Yeah.
So, but it's a great little arena. It's an hour and 15 minutes away if you live in Chicago. Tickets are going to be very affordable, and you get to see some future Blackhawks play in some really meaningful games. Which, when was the last time a Blackhawk player, no matter AHL, NHL, has played in a meaningful game? It's been a while. So I totally recommend if you can make the trip to one of those playoff games. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. They put a good production there, and it's family friendly and lots of fun.
And they might end up playing the Wolves, so they might be playing right out in Rosemont too.
That would be fun too. That'd be a fun second round matchup, a little rivalry. The Wolves don't want to see the IceHogs. The IceHogs have dominated the Wolves.
Yes.
The Wolves have been one of the best teams in the AHL in the entire league. I mean, they clinched a division like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's been a while.
But they can't beat the IceHogs, especially at home.
Yeah.
IceHogs are 5-0-1 against the Wolves in Rosemont. So the Wolves don't want anything to do with the IceHogs because they've been owning them. Who owns Wolves? IceHogs.
By the way, for those keeping score at home, it has been 1,834 days since the last Blackhawks playoff game at the United Center.
That's it?
I'm willing to bet we're going to get to at least 2,000 before we see the next one.
I think that's fair, yes.
Well, yeah.
I think that's a safe bet.
We're going to get to 2,000 before we can start counting down the days to the next one. It's going to be a while.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting. I mean, and I wonder, a couple years ago when I was doing the Madhouse podcast with James Naveau, we did a couple events out with the Wolves and talked to some of their brass. And I was always curious, like, why are the Wolves always so good? They have a different sort of, I don't know what you would call it, like a different plan than Rockford, where Rockford is purely developmental for the Blackhawks. The Wolves have permission to kind of bring in guys that have no NHL.
Right.
I guess aspiration is probably the wrong word, but guys past their prime who make them better than your average just farm team, and that's why the Wolves are consistently good and competitive.
They're still independently owned.
Right.
They're not owned by their NHL farm club. So if it was up to the Wolves, they would be an independent team. They wouldn't be affiliated with anybody, but that's just not how it works anymore.
And that's why the Hawks and Wolves have never gotten together on an affiliation.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it makes the most sense. It wouldn't happen. But the Wolves' main goal is, sure, send us some of your rookies, will help development, but we want to win a Calder Cup every year.
Yep.
And that's why they go out and they get, your Stefan Nasons and your Andrew Polorowskis who are leading the league in scoring. These are guys that are, years past, Curtis McKenzie's. They go out and get these guys just to play for the Wolves. And if it was up for, I know for a fact, talking to ownership there for the years I covered them, they would love to be able to just get a group of guys and keep them there for 4 or 5 years in a row and kind of have an identity with their fans as well. So it's a different beast the Wolves, but it works. I mean, they're
Yeah,
not
they're
they're not owned by they're the Carolina Hurricanes affiliate now. They're not owned by the Hurricanes. They don't have the paychecks coming in from Carolina.
Right.
They got to sell tickets to pay the bills. So what sells tickets? Winning teams.
Yep.
So that's why they always put together a winning team.
Well, and for how long were they, when it was the Bill Wirtz Blackhawks, where the Wolves like, come see winning hockey instead. And it worked.
Yeah.
That anti-Blackhawks campaign absolutely worked for the Wolves for years.
They outdrew the Blackhawks a
Yeah.
couple of those years.
They don't do that anymore because I think the relationship between the two teams is a lot better than it was back then. But, them getting Pat Foley as soon as the Hawks let him walk away for a while, that was not by mistake. The Wolves are a well-run organization.
They got Billy Gardner.
Yep.
That wasn't a mistake either.
No, of course not. So it's going to be interesting. I'd love to see the Hogs and the Wolves square
It's a
off in the
rivalry.
playoffs.
It is a rivalry,
Yeah,
though.
definitely.
The teams don't like each other, and the fan bases don't like each other, and there'll be a lot of IceHogs fans in the stands at the Allstate Arena, and vice versa. There'll be a lot of Wolves fans going out to Rockford, so it'll be a lot of fun.
We need to find a Rockford playoff game that the three of us can go to and ask them if we can do a post-game show from a suite or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be awesome.
That would be pretty
That'd
cool.
be so fun. I would love to do that. We should get the wheels in motion, as I'm promising things I don't know if we can do. I would assume that would be okay. I'm assuming that they could find a way to make that work.
Someone who has worked the press box there many nights, the Wi-Fi there, I don't know.
Okay.
If we can get the Wi-Fi to work, I don't see why they wouldn't let us do that.
Fair enough.
We'll figure it
Speaking
out.
of
Natalie, you want to go to Rockford next week? All right.
All right. Speaking of programming notes, we are expecting a conversation with Chris Vosters this week. I think Tuesday is the plan for now. As soon as we have a confirmation on that, we'll tweet it at CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter, and it will be all over all of our social medias. And by the way, make sure you're following CHGO Sports on Facebook. We just opened that page a couple weeks ago. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. So make sure you're following CHGO Sports. And for us specifically, CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter.
Yeah, and if you're loving all of the content on social media there, another good way to support us is to check out Athletic Greens. I will say that there are no ball mentions in this read, so the kids are safe for this one. But Athletic Greens is on here. They are proud of their AG1 product. It is a once-a-day formula designed to improve your gut health, optimize your immune system, and give you more natural energy. Put one scoop of that in a cup of water, and you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. I had mine this morning, feeling pretty good. I got had a busy day today. With the weather being how nice it was, I would definitely try to take advantage of being outdoors, cut the lawn, took my daughter for a walk. It was good. It was good. Tomorrow, got her baptism, so we're having
nice.
We got the baptism.
Congrats.
Got the families coming over, hanging out tomorrow. So another busy day. Definitely going to start my day with the scoop of Athletic Greens there. And it's good if you have different dietary restrictions, whether it's gluten-free or keto or paleo, vegan, dairy-free, whatever it is. With AG1, you're good to go. It's easy to incorporate into your life no matter how busy you may be. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks. That's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
There you go. You said there was going to be no ball references, but you did reference mowing the lawn.
There you
I
go.
see what you did.
Wow.
Testicles.
Yeah.
There, I did it. How do you feel about that? Unrelated. Stop the balls and testicles joke because I'm going to reference my wife. Big fan of the Athletic Greens.
My wife.
Yeah. It's been, it's doing what it's supposed to for me. I definitely feel a lot more energized before having coffee. I had to have some because the game almost put me to sleep. But yeah, starting my day with that, I feel like it gives me an energy kick. I feel just better gut health. We had some Lou Malnati's pizza tonight for
just to offset the athletic
for
greens
team dinner.
completely.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I have my athletic greens in the morning, and I'm like, I feel great. It's something great for my health, and then I can eat burgers and pizza and donuts and all this other stuff that I probably shouldn't be putting in my body, but I do. And I can be I can maintain being the skinny in 2 fats and 1 skinny.
See, now we saw the video of making the rounds on social media of the guy dipping his hot dog in his beer at the Yankees game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have
if
you
I do
dipped
that.
your Lou's into your athletic greens?
I have not, and I probably will not.
Yeah,
because I don't think
good call.
I don't
You're
think
not a
I don't
psychopath.
think that has the same
Yeah, I know.
combination benefits as hot dogs and beer.
I'm not against the hot dog, and I'm not outraged by that.
Well, that's what the competitive eaters do. They dip their hot dogs in water. So what's the difference? That or
My thing was it was a
light
plain
beer.
hot dog, so there's no relish or onions getting in his beer.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if there's mustard on there, then you're getting that in your beer, then no. But I mean, who hasn't cooked a hot dog in beer? So
No one I want to know.
So hot dog flavored beer flavored hot dog. What's
was that a Limp Bizkit album?
I think I don't know.
Hot dog flavored water, I believe, is what it was called.
Ugh.
Anyways,
All right.
beer's better.
This has been the
Hot
weirdest
dog
show
flavored
ever.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
Just
been.
wait to the off season when we have even less to talk about.
Nah, we keep saying that, but like we've had so many conversations during games. Like, here's something we could do. We should do this. We have a bunch of stuff that's in our hip pocket for the off season. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I got the feeling the Blackhawks will be giving us plenty of content
There
that
will be
that we weren't expecting. There's going to be some newsworthy things to talk about. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, want to remind everybody one more time that if you enjoy CHGO, the best way to continue our growth is to download the PointsBet app and use that code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership. That unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. And remember, online signups available in Illinois. Download it. Sign up, start to finish, in the shower, while you're manscaping and drinking your athletic greens. It is the easiest thing in the world to do. You'll be signing up for the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're going to wrap things up. Hopefully everybody's going to have a really nice weekend, nice Sunday. We'll be back on Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.